Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Better today we will go ahead and we will talk about commercial banks. We have already talked about what is a central bank. We talked about its role, the central bank का role क्या होता है. We also talked about uh, specific central bank, which is Reserve Bank of India. Its history in the last class. Today I want to go ahead and I want to focus on commercial banks, right? So So, one of the key things that we understood from the last class is that central banks, at least, don't work for the profit motive. Right? They basically go ahead and they work for your purpose of, monetary management, for helping the government, for being bankers, bank, and so on and so forth. But that is not the case with the commercial bank. When we talk about commercial bank, right? Then commercial banks actually in the banking system, they go ahead and they work for the purpose of making profit, right? So these are those financial institutions which give you a lot of services, but they also, you have to understand that they only work for the purpose of profit and they don't work without profit, right? And what is the main task of a commercial bank? So the main task of a commercial bank is the same, right? That it is acting as an intermediary between deposits. It is taking the deposits from the public and it is going ahead and it is giving loan to the public. And in between, whatever money is left, it is going ahead and it is making profit out of it, right? So this is what is the main task of the commercial bank. Another thing which you have to remember is that when we talk about commercial banks in India, we should also be going ahead and we should also be understanding how these commercial banks they are listed in India, right? What is their I can go ahead and I can say what is their hierarchy that they follow, right? So that is also something which we will be focusing on in today's class as to what is a scheduled bank, what is a non-scheduled bank, what is the difference between those two. That is also something which is of importance, and we will be going ahead and we will be talking about that, right? Okay, so let us go ahead and let us begin our lecture by writing about the definition of the commercial banks. So please write down. Commercial banks are an important, so commercial banks are an important part of the financial system of the economy. Right? It refers to those banks under banking system in India that run for the purpose of profit. So commercial word ही है. Commercial का मतलब ही है commerce, मतलब ही है profit. So their work they run for the purpose of making profit, right? So they are regulated under the banking system. Under the banking, we can directly write the regulation beta. Under the banking regulation Act 1949, right? So this is the definition of commercial bank. Anything which runs for commercial. That means anything that runs for making profit. That is called as a commercial bank, right? Okay. Now, these commercial banks, they, so as I said, they are just acting as the intermediate between deposits and loans. Okay. But we have to also understand one more thing, which is that sometimes we want to understand what is the difference between a commercial bank and between any other non-financial firm. How do we distinguish between them, right? So basically, when we talk about commercial banks, the degree to which they have the profit making in mind, right? It can be different from any other firm. ठीक है, माने जब भी आप कमर्शियल बैंक के बारे में सोचोगे, जब भी आप सोचोगे किसी भी एक कमर्शियल बैंक के बारे में, तो हाँ, ये तो हमें पता है कि वो प्रॉफिट बनाते हैं, उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। बट साथ में हमेशा दिमाग में ये भी आएगा कि वो शायद कुछ सोशल वेलफेयर भी कर रहे होंगे, राइट? दिस विल ऑल्सो हिट योर माइंड। ऐसा भी लगेगा, है ना? जबकि अगर मैं किसी भी XYZ कंपनी की बात करूं, मतलब जस्ट इमेजिन, हाँ, बहुत सिंपल है ये समझना। सपोज मैंने आपको बोला पंजाब नेशनल बैंक, ठीक है, फोर्स वो भी प्रॉफिट कर रहा है, बट आपके दिमाग में एकदम से आएगा कि हाँ, वो लोगों के वेलफेयर के लिए भी काम कर रहा होगा। प्रोबेबली वो जब भी लोगों को लोन मिलते हैं या कुछ होता है, तो उससे लोग अपने घर बना रहे, एक वेलफेयर एस्पेक्ट आ जाएगा, है ना? बट सपोज इफ आई टेल यू रिलायंस, जियो, राइट, इन दैट केस, या टाटा या वट एवर, आई गिव यू सम फर्म, तो आपको वो सोशल एस्पेक्ट नहीं आएगा, वो सोशल वेलफेयर वाला एस्पेक्ट माइंड को क्रॉस नहीं करेगा, right? So when we talk about commercial bank, of course, they are also for the purpose of profit. इनका कोई और काम नहीं है, but they should ideally be working on the principle of social welfare, social justice, and promotion of regional balance. ये तीन चीजें उनको ध्यान रखनी होंगी कि सबका वेलफेयर सोच के काम करें, जस्टिस रहे। ये ना हो कि आप जो लोन दे रहे हो उस सिबिल स्कोर को छोड़ के you're giving it on some other basis, आप कोई inequality कॉज कर रहे हो। एंड रीजनल बैलेंस मेंटेन रहे, ये ना हो कि रीजन टू रीजन चीजें अलग हो रही हैं, राइट? सो दैट्स हाउ कमर्शियल बैंक्स शुड बी डिस्टिंग्विश्ड फ्रॉम एनी अदर बिजनेस। ऑफ कोर्स ये भी प्रॉफिट मेकिंग नहीं है, बट दे मस्ट बी डिस्टिंग्विश्ड फ्रॉम एनी अदर business, right? So please write down. Okay. Although the objective of these banks is to make profits, the degree to which they have to balance the principle of profit maximization with certain other principles, like principle of social welfare, social justice, and promotion of regional balance in development distinguishes these banks from other business concern, from other business concerns, ठीक है? आई होप दिस इज क्लियर। तो ये नहीं है कि बाकी बिजनेस का सोशल वेलफेयर दिमाग में नहीं है, वो भी सोशल वेलफेयर करते होंगे, बट आइडियली ऐसा दिमाग में आता है कि इनका काम ज्यादातर सोशल वेलफेयर ही होगा। Although they are for profit, they have to just maintain these principles in mind. Now, when we talk about commercial banks, हाँ बेटा, then you have scheduled, non-scheduled. Here you have beta private, public, foreign. Here you have beta SBI and its subsidiaries and other nationalized banks. Right? So you have to understand the difference between a scheduled bank and a non-scheduled bank. Scheduled bank, as the word suggests, schedule, right? So these are those banks under the banking system which are listed in the second schedule of RBI Act, right? Whereas the non-scheduled bank are those banks, again the word suggests, which do not meet the criteria to be included in the second schedule of RBI, right? So when we say that they are excluded from schedule, what do we mean? We mean that they work with certain different kind of regulations. The regulations with which commercial bank which are scheduled they work, and the non-scheduled bank work, they are different, right? So please write down scheduled commercial bank. I will just write SCB. Refer to those commercial banks under banking system in India that are listed in the second schedule of the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. Non-scheduled commercial bank, NSCB. Refer to those who don't meet the criteria to be included in the second schedule of RBI Act 1934, right? Being excluded from schedule means that they operate under a different set of regulations as compared to scheduled commercial banks. So as compared to scheduled commercial banks, they are basically going ahead and they are working with a different set of regulations. Okay? That is why they are called as non-scheduled commercial banks. Okay. Now let us go ahead and let us just write down in detail, beta, कि what is a scheduled commercial bank and non-scheduled commercial bank. ठीक है? So just make a table. Scheduled commercial banks, non-scheduled commercial banks, basis of difference. Right? First thing, meaning. Meaning I've already told you, this is listed under RBI Act 1934. This is not listed. ठीक है? Criteria. To become a scheduled bank, you must have a paid up capital of 5 lakhs or more. Right? You have to ensure that your affairs are not conducted in a way which is detrimental to the interest of the depositor. Right? ऐसा कुछ नहीं करना जिससे कोई भी ऐसा काम नहीं होना चाहिए जिससे डिपॉजिटर को फर्क पड़े, जिससे डिपॉजिटर का जो भी इंटरेस्ट है, हाँ, जिसकी वजह से डिपॉजिटर आपके साथ है उस पर असर पड़े, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होना चाहिए. राइट? So basically you have to ensure that you work in a way which is not detrimental to the interest of the depositor. Right? Then I'm not writing that point. Then here there is no fixed criteria. Or in other words, you can simply say that if your paid up capital is less than 5 lakh, then definitely you will be a non-scheduled bank. Okay. Now, what are the rights available to these banks? Rights available, right? So when we talk about scheduled bank, the right is that it is authorized to borrow funds from RBI. It can borrow directly funds from RBI, right? Then it can apply to join the clearing house. Right? It can go ahead and it can avail facility of rediscount of first class exchange bills from RBI. So when we talk about scheduled commercial banks, basically क्या है कि वो जो हैं वो RBI से easily funds ले सकते हैं. नॉन स्केड्यूल्ड कमर्शियल बैंक ऑन द अदर हैंड, उनको वो ऑथराइजेशन नहीं है, नॉट ऑथराइज्ड. हाँ, अगर बहुत ज्यादा कुछ इमरजेंसी होगी तो वो आरबीआई से बोरो कर सकते हैं, कैन बोरो अंडर इमरजेंसी सिचुएशन. राइट? बट यूजुअली स्पीकिंग इट कैन नॉट बोरो. ठीक है? सिमिलरली ये जो है ये क्लियरिंग हाउस की मेंबरशिप ले सकते हैं. राइट? जबकि अगर हम बात करें नॉन स्केड्यूल्ड बैंक की, देन दे डोंट हैव द राइट टू क्लियरिंग हाउस. वो क्लियरिंग हाउस के लिए नहीं अप्लाई कर सकते. राइट? व्हाट इज अ क्लियरिंग हाउस बेटा? Clearing house is any financial institute that facilitates the exchange and settlement of payment security derivatives. ठीक है? तो क्लियरिंग हाउस बेसिकली एक इंटरमीडिएरी की तरह एक्ट करता है और वो क्लियर करता है सेटलमेंट्स को. ठीक है? जैसे आपने सुना होगा कि जब भी मर्चेंट्स जो होते हैं, हाँ, वो बाय या सेल करते हैं तो उसके लिए उनको एक क्लियरिंग हाउस की जरूरत पड़ती है. या सिक्योरिटीज के लिए, स्टॉक मार्केट्स के लिए हमें क्लियरिंग हाउस की जरूरत पड़ती है, ठीक है, या फ्यूचर्स एंड ऑप्शंस के लिए हमें क्लियरिंग हाउस की जरूरत पड़ती है, राइट। सो ये जो हमारे क्लियरिंग हाउसेस हैं, स्केड्यूल्ड बैंक क्लियरिंग हाउस के लिए अप्लाई कर सकते हैं, बट एक नॉन स्केड्यूल्ड बैंक क्लियरिंग हाउस के लिए अप्लाई नहीं कर सकता, इट इज नॉट एलिजिबल, सो नॉट एलिजिबल। ठीक है। सिमिलरली जो एक शेड्यूल्ड बैंक है उसके पास फैसिलिटी है कि वो फर्स्ट क्लास हाई क्वालिटी गुड क्वालिटी एक्सचेंज बिल्स को फैसिलिटी दे सकता है रीडिस्काउंट करने की, बट फॉर नॉन शेड्यूल्ड बैंक दिस फैसिलिटी इज नॉट अवेलेबल, राइट। सो नाउ जो शेड्यूल्ड बैंक होते हैं बेटा, इफ वी कंपेयर देयर रिस्क्स, राइट, दीज आर फाइनेंशियली स्टेबल एंड दे आर अनलाइकली टू, जो हमने पहले बोला था कि स्केड्यूल्ड बैंक होने के लिए आपको डिपॉजिटर के बेनिफिट को सोच के चलना है, सो दे कैन नॉट हर्ट द राइट ऑफ द डिपॉजिटर, सो देयरफॉर दे आर लेस रिस्की। बट जो नॉन स्केड्यूल्ड बैंक होते हैं दे आर मोर रिस्की, राइट। एग्जाम्पल्स, व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द एग्जांपल्स, जितने भी हमारे बैंक्स हैं एक्चुअली, चाहे हम स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया की बात करें, चाहे हम एचडीएफसी बैंक की बात करें, पंजाब नेशनल बैंक की बात करें, all these are scheduled banks, right? As such, there is no non-scheduled bank in India. Okay, all of them now are actually scheduled banks. Is this making sense? So there is no bank which can go ahead and which can hurt the right of the public, right? So all of them are scheduled bank in nature. तो आप जो मन में आए वो वाला एग्जाम्पल आप लिख सकते हो, right? Okay. Now let us go further and let us talk about the functions of the commercial bank, right? Okay, please write it with me, beta. When we talk about the functions of the commercial bank basically main function of the commercial bank is that it is accepting deposit and providing loan. ठीक है, सबसे पहला वो ये कर रहा है, it is accepting profit, deposits, providing loan. But other than that, it is also leading to increased financial inclusion. जितने ज्यादा कमर्शियल बैंक एक कंट्री में खुलेंगे उतना ज्यादा फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन कंट्री का बढ़ेगा, है ना। Then it is also promoting digital economy, right? It is helping you to do NEFT, RTGS, IMPS, and UPI. So through that, it is also helping in the promotion of the digital economy, right? Please write it with me. Commercial banks in India perform several critical functions like A, accepting deposits, right? They accept various types of deposit from the public, which form main source of funding. Second beta, providing loan and advances. तो बैंक्स जब भी किसी को लोन चाहिए, प्राइमरी सोर्स ऑफ फॉर्मल फंड्स विल बी द बैंक्स, राइट? वेदर यू नीड पर्सनल लोन, वेदर यू नीड बिजनेस लोन, whether you need industrial sector loan, agricultural loan, जो भी करना है, primary source of funds will be the bank. So banks are the primary source of funds for personal finance. Agriculture, industrial sector, and other economic activities that take place through loan and credit facilities. ठीक है बेटा? Okay बेटा, third part, financial intermediation. तो अब डिपॉजिट ले लिए, लोगों को लोन दे दिया, तो इससे वो क्या बन गए? एक फाइनेंशियल इंटरमीडिएरी बन गए, है ना? फाइनेंशियल इंटरमीडिएरी क्या कर रहे हैं? एक जगह से लेके दूसरी जगह पैसा दे रहे हैं और बीच में प्रॉफिट अर्न कर रहे हैं. So they facilitate mobility by mobilizing savings from depositors to borrowers, thereby enhancing the economic efficiency. Right? Fourth bit of financial inclusion. As largest category of banking network in India, they cater to maximum number of banking customers, right? This aids cause of financial inclusion in India. ठीक है? तो फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन भी इसीलिए हो पा रहा है. फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन मीन्स यू आर एबल टू गो अहेड एंड इंक्लूड एवरीवन into the system, into the banking system. So this financial inclusion is also happening because of the fact that the commercial banks are open everywhere, right? उसकी वजह से जो हमारा मेन एम है, especially since 2014, the aim has been financial inclusion. वो बहुत अच्छे से हो पा रहा है, right? Okay, next बेटा, promotion of digital economy. So they provide sophisticated digital banking services that include mobile banking, internet banking, etc. This helps in promotion of digital economy and makes financial transactions seamless and more accessible to general public. Right, beta? So these are the main functions, but iske alawa also there are some functions, right? The next function is that it can go ahead and it can, give you investment and wealth management. For example, I'll give you a very simple example. If today I go to my relationship manager, so usually when you open a salaried account, you get a relationship manager, right? So when I go to my relationship manager and I tell him, look, I have this much money, I want to invest somewhere, they will connect me to someone who's called a wealth manager in the bank. And they will tell me how to manage my portfolio, how much money to invest in which mutual fund, right? Of course, they kind of go ahead and they suggest you their own mutual funds, but they help you invest your money. They help you create the right portfolio, right? So next beta, EF, investment and wealth management. Some commercial banks offer investment and wealth management services. They help clients manage their investment portfolio, offer advisory service, and provide access to various investment products like mutual funds, stocks, and bonds. Okay. The next that you have, that is basically your foreign exchange services. So just imagine, although this is something which is done by private people also. And if you're from Delhi, you would know that if you go to Connaught Place or if you go to Greater Kailash or Rajouri or any market, you will be able to see people sitting and who would be ready to kind of take rupees from you and give you the other currency in exchange, right? Or if you have visited from some other country and you have some other currency and you want rupees, they will do the exchange for you. But but officially, if I want to go ahead and if I want to do this via bank, that is also possible, right? So banks facilitate currency exchange, right? And they help you uh, provide all transactions related to foreign exchange, right? And that is why the businesses which operate across countries, right? They get this assistance and the hedging options from banks. Okay, hedging में क्या होता है कि it is able to manage the risk related to fluctuations in the currency. We'll study that as part of international. ठीक है, but just understand कि ये जो foreign exchange होता है और जो foreign exchange के साथ साथ foreign currency transactions होते हैं, उनको करने में आपका बैंक हेल्पफुल रहता है. ठीक है, another example let me give you. So for example, if I go ahead and if I want to visit, suppose I visit Dubai. Okay, and I'm not carrying any currency with me, मैं कोई भी currency carry नहीं कर रही हूँ, then what will happen basically, and I have a card with me, credit card. Now ideally credit card is to issue money in terms of rupees, but I can swipe it there. I can pay in terms of their currency AED there, right, in terms of dirham there. और वहां पे करने के बाद जब मैंने अपने क्रेडिट कार्ड को स्वाइप किया तो इनडायरेक्टली क्रेडिट कार्ड ने क्या किया, बैंक ने क्या किया, उसने रुपीस को डॉलर में कन्वर्ट करके उनको डॉलर में पे कर दिया, और जब वो मुझसे चार्ज करेगा वो मुझसे रुपीस में ही चार्ज कर लेगा, कन्वर्ट करके, है ना, विद सम चार्जेस। तो बेसिकली जो भी फॉरेन ट्रांजैक्शंस हैं वो मैं बैंक की वजह से, उनके क्रेडिट कार्ड की वजह से कर पा रही हूँ, इवन व्हेन आई डोंट कैरी द, इवन इफ आई डोंट गो एंड आई कैरी द करेंसी विद मी, राइट? So that is foreign exchange services. So please write down. Banks facilitate currency exchange and provide services related to foreign exchange transactions. They assist individuals and business in converting one currency to another and offer hedging options to manage currency risk. Right? Now, H. The next is advisory services. Right? Advisory services मैंने आपको बता ही दिया है, very similar to what I discussed with investment management. Advisory service माने कुछ भी advice फाइनेंशियल रिलेटेड बैंक्स आपको दे सकते हैं, चाहे वो फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग हो, इन्वेस्टमेंट स्ट्रैटेजी हो, रिस्क मैनेजमेंट हो, ये सब कुछ आपको बैंक प्रोवाइड करता है. सो बैंक ऑफर्स advisory service to clients on financial matters such as investment strategies, risk management, and financial planning. They provide expert guidance to individuals and business to make informed financial decision. Right? Better, one last thing. Just like the central bank has its treasury, जैसे central bank अपना एक treasure रखता है जिसमें वो foreign currency रखता है और उसमें वो it goes ahead and it keeps your own currency also and it keeps you gold also. ऐसे ही कमर्शियल बैंक भी अपने ट्रेजरी ऑपरेशंस को मैनेज करता है, जिसमें वो अपने कैश फ्लोज को मैनेज करता है, लिक्विडिटी मैनेजमेंट करता है, अलग अलग जगहों पे पैसा अपना इन्वेस्ट करता है, जो भी मनी डिपॉजिटर्स ने दिया होता है उसका ऑप्टिमल यूटिलाइजेशन करने के लिए वो सही सही जगहों पे पैसा इन्वेस्ट करता है. सो दिस इज कॉल्ड एज ट्रेजरी ऑपरेशन एंड दिस इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द फंक्शंस ऑफ द कमर्शियल बैंक, राइट? सो राइट डाउन आई, treasury operations. Commercial bank manage their own treasury operations, which involve activities like managing cash flow, liquidity management, risk management, and investing in various financial instruments to generate income. Okay, so these are the various